Hi guys, welcome to the lesson. So in today's mini video guitar lesson we're going to learn some rock. So if you're the sort of person who's an electric guitarist, and if you like bands like Rage Against the Machine or the Foo Fighters or Green Day or old school stuff like Guns N' Roses or Metallica, then this is definitely the lesson for you. Because we're going to learn power chords. Now you may already know what power chords are, but I'm going to show you some other stuff, and I'm going to teach you another technique too called palm muting, which you're going to find really useful, and you'll realise that it'll make your playing sound a whole lot better. So power chords are a simple chord that just consists of two notes, and what we do is move it around the guitar neck like this, and it really is as simple as that. And the other thing I want to tell you is we're going to use a rock sound today. So what I mean by that is we're going to put the distortion on our amp. Now all amps are different. Some of them have buttons you can press, or some of you will have effects pedals, you know, so you can create the distortion like that. But we want to get this rock sound. Now that was a little example of power chords, and you can see that I was just moving this shape around. Alright, and you can create really cool stuff like that really easily. So let's get on with it. I want to explain it straight away. So if we take our first finger and put it on the 6th string at fret 7, the first finger is known as the root note or the bass note, and what happens is we always take another finger and put it 2 frets higher on the next string. So just to make that perfectly clear, this finger's on the 6th string at fret 7, this finger is on the 5th string at fret 9. So hold them down nice and tight, and with the plectrum I want you to pluck both those strings, the 6th and the 5th string. Now obviously I've got the distortion on my amp, so don't worry if you haven't got that distortion sound yet. You can worry about that another time. But what's most important at the moment is that you get these 2 notes. Okay, good. Now what I'm going to ask you to do is to try moving it down the neck. So what I mean by that is the first finger, the root note, is now on the 6th string at fret 5, and this other finger is now on the 5th string at fret 7. Okay, and now move it down 2 more frets. So we got the 6th string at fret 3 and the 5th string at fret 5. Okay, so just try those 3 chords now. Root note at fret 7, at fret 5, and then fret 3. And then try taking it down 1 more fret. So you're on the 6th string at fret 2 and the 5th string at fret 4. Now I think you get the idea by now that these notes are always 2 frets apart like this, and always 1 string apart obviously. So from now on you'll hear me mostly refer to just the root note, and I'll expect you to realise that this other finger goes, you know, on this note here. So just try that sequence once more. Okay, good. Now another thing you can try is to pluck 4 times on each chord, and you'll hear that that'll make it sound a bit more interesting. Or for those of you out there that are punk rockers, you can perhaps do 8 times on each chord and play it a little bit faster like this. Okay, I think you get the idea. Good. So obviously you can experiment with that. You can change the number of repetitions that you pluck, and you can also move around to different chord shapes, and you know, start to make up your own songs and make up your own chord sequences. Now this other technique that I want to teach you about today is known as palm muting, and we're going to look at our right hand, and it's a little bit similar to the chop. If you think back earlier in the E course where I taught you to strum down, up, chop, up, it's a very similar principle, and what I'm going to ask you to do is to use the palm of your hand to gently touch the strings just a little bit, and what you can do is pluck the power chord, and you can hear that it's muted the sound, it's deadened it, okay? Because if we weren't touching the strings at all, it would sound like this. But if we touch them just a little bit with the flesh of the palm of our hand, it sounds like this. Now the trick is to have your palm just right next to the bridge, only touching the strings a tiny little bit. Because what happens if you move your hand too far along, it will just kill the notes completely and you won't hear anything. So what you want to do is experiment. Move your hand too far along and then move it too far back, and then just find a happy medium where it sounds like this. Okay, good. So I want you to apply that palm muting technique now to the little power chord sequence that we just learned. So plucking 4 times on each one, it should sound like this. So if I speed that up to a full, you know, punk rock speed, and you can start to get the idea now, because I was strumming 8 times on each one then. So I leave that up to you to have a bit of an experiment with that and see what it sounds like. And also, like I said just now, do have a go at writing your own songs. I think you're at a stage now where you can start to create your own stuff. So the good thing about power chords is you can move them all over the place, but you can also change strings. So instead of using the 6th string and the 5th string, you can use the 5th string and the 4th string, and it'll still work. Obviously you've got to pluck the corresponding strings with your plectrum now. You know, pluck the 5th and 4th string. And I was actually just making that up then as I went along, and you can do exactly the same. It really is that simple. Good, so I hope you're excited by that. Bear in mind what I said about the palm muting and experiment using it with and without palm muting. Go and write your own songs now, move these chords around, practice strumming quickly, and also, you know, just going back to basics quickly, make sure these fingers, you're holding them down right next to the fret, because some people start to forget and they end up moving their fingers away or accidentally having them on top of the fret, and that's really no good. Make sure they're right next to the fret, exactly where they should be. So well done for making it this far in the e-course. And also, in the meantime, if you find this really easy and you want to learn other songs, you know, if you like Guns N' Roses, Metallica, Green Day, Rage Against the Machine, anything like that, there's loads of songs on the archive where I'll teach you a full-length video guitar lesson of how to play any of those songs you want to learn. So go and check it out, see if there's anything that really takes your fancy, and you can start to build up a repertoire of stuff, you know, so you can either play with a band or you can play to other people, you know, at a party or something. So go and get on with it, go and get practicing, take your time, be patient, do it thoroughly, it'll all be worth it in the end, I promise you that. Okay, I'll see you in a few days for the next segment in this course. Bye bye.